Bo Burnham, blah, blah, blah.
Brunch. Hit it, boys.
Today's episode is brought to you by Keeps, so keep an eye out for a read later on in this episode.
Hey, way to go. Right off the bat, getting their money's worth.
How about that, Keeps?
Ooh, it sounds like we could be a keeper. Don't pull those reads, baby.
I mean, no fantasy football, but I could be keeping up with the Kardashians.
How about that soccer match? You see that save by the old keeper?
Oh, man. I mean, things have gotten pretty juicy there, but the tender came up with that big save. Chicken tenders.
You been to AMC because them chicken tenders are crunchy.
Crunchy. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I'm like...
I saw a headline this week that said fully vaccinated people can now... I said fully vaccinated people and also liars can now not wear a mask at AMC.
Had that conversation with someone recently. I was talking about sports events and everything and them opening up, and they were like, they mentioned they hadn't gotten their vaccine yet. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, but now that I think of it, I was like, I bet a bunch of people are just going to be lying. And they were like, yeah, who's going to stop? Who's actually going to check for that stuff? This has been such a weird experience. That's my big take for this episode. The whole COVID-19 pandemic,
not for me,
has been honestly so super weird experience. I overall haven't liked it, but that's my big takeaway. That it's been a big weird experience where everyone's kind of figuring out so many things on the fly that I feel like lying. Obviously, Trump was president for a large portion of it, but like lying is like an all-time high, or like being able to get away with lying, I think is at an all-time high. Like when people were getting their vaccinations.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
what comorbidities do you have?
Yeah, I was gonna say like whether you're talking about whether you are vaccine or how you got the vaccine, lying has been in this year for sure.
Which is weird. I feel like I don't know. I've probably always been roughly the same level on lying. I used to love lying about like non-consequential things. I feel like that used to be a big part of my brand, but now it doesn't. I've just kind of forgotten about it, or I don't do it as much. But I used to just like love to just like bring up a little like, oh, did I? Someone's talking about their vacation to wherever, and just be like, oh, I've never been there, but I have been to this other city, and I hear they're similar. And they're like, oh, yeah, like, I would say they're similar, but like I haven't been to that other city. Just like a tiny little lie that doesn't make any difference. And it's just like a lie for me. And maybe if I'm with somebody and they know me well, I toss them a little wink when I'm telling it. What a shitty thing to do.
Well, yeah, I like the, like, hey, I'm with a buddy. I'm going to say something that we both isn't true. And it's going to be like an inside joke for us.
Yeah,
that's kind of fun.
You want to start doing that?
Yeah, I think we already do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's definitely something like, so I would pride myself on doing that. And then like the rest of the day, probably talk about like, hey, you guys see that absolute banger of a lie I told? Yeah, about how like you're allergic to sugar. Yeah, that was interesting. And then like that's like the rest of my day.
Yeah, so you heard it here first. Brunch is promoting the summer of lying and pissing your pants.
Lying, pissing your pants, but being not like bad, not harmful lies. Like
and not harmful pissing your pants, just playfully.
Neither of them can be harmful.
Playful lies and playful piss.
Yeah, if you haven't heard the Patreon episode, we haven't pumped the Patreon in a million years. Patreon.com/listen to brunch. Last week, we did just like a kind of authentic episode, and we're talking about some choices you make with clothes, but not your average conversation about choices you make with clothes. Mainly, it's about how men get a little drop of pee on their underwear and what that says about buying certain types of shorts. And I think the description I just gave of it was actually pretty accurate. That's exactly what that conversation was.
I bought some fun shorts today too. I bought some bird dogs.
Ooh, I've never done that. So bird dogs, I believe, have lining too. So
yes.
We'll summarize. We'll give you a freebie. The summary is some guys' shorts have lining in them, and I'm concerned that they're trying to make us go commando. And if you go commando, then if you're getting one drop of pee on lining, I don't know how many times a person goes to the bathroom a day. 8 or something like that. I don't know.
Sure.
The answer could be like 3 or it could be 100, and I would have no idea. Like that's not getting absorbed anywhere, so it's just like sitting on your shorts, and then by the end of the day, you got like a bunch of pee on your shorts. So that was the dilemma we were talking about. Like, what do you do with shorts with lining? And I think the consensus has been just cut the lining out, rock some underwear, fellas.
Yeah, and it did make me feel better that some of the comments on Patreon were like, yes, I've been there. And so we weren't...
It was definitely a real thing. No one had dwelled on enough.
Nobody had the courage to bring it up.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
The first 8 minutes of that episode is like me dancing around and being like, I've been thinking a lot about like bringing this up, and I don't know... Whatever. No one's listening to this.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear what other people, what our listeners have in their closet that they are afraid or like they're embarrassed that they own and that they feel like they can't really wear
for a weird reason like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Do I have anything else that? I mean, I have some clothes I have are too small for me.
Yeah, but that's not that's a you problem.
Yes, that's not changed by the clothes. I'd get them tailored and be like, yo, let these things out.
Like, I feel like a lot of people have those sort of things with like trends that come in style, and they're like, shit, this is like the new in trend. Let me try it, and like they put it on at home, and they're like, oh, I don't think that this works on me. I don't think that I can pull this off or whatever. I feel like a lot of people have those things.
Yeah. And folks, please hit me up. Let me know. And I'm not saying this in a, like, I want all of you to do it. But if you see short sleeve button downs with Revere collars, they're calling them camp collars these days. Really, they're Revere collars. The type of shirt is called a camp shirt. Anyway, if you see shirts like that are not linen, that aren't rayon, that are just cotton, maybe cotton with a little bit of spandex in it, I will happily pay whatever it takes, unless it's expensive. Let me know, because it is an absolute outrage that should be the most common shirt in the world in the summer, and I can't find it, and it makes me so freaking mad. I might start my own company. Also in the new...
I was going to say, big closet update for me. Finally got my hands on the coveted Kirkland brand crew neck sweatshirt, courtesy of our pal Gary Streisky. Gary Streisky sent me the Kirkland brand crew neck sweatshirt that I've been searching for the past like 6 months.
Did it already get there?
No, it's in the mail, but he did send it.
He said Saturday he would send it. Like I wouldn't put it past Gary to overnight it.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it's going to be here in the next couple of days, and I'm very, very excited about it, even though it's approximately 1,000 degrees in my house now, and like I am very sweaty for all the people that are watching via the video episodes. I apologize, because holy boy, do I have a glaze.
Yeah, man. Central Air sounds like it's such a ridiculous, extravagant thing, and then if you have it, or if you're near it and then don't have it, being a normie, man, is normie a slang? If I just accidentally used the slang, I didn't mean to.
Well, it's like a normie is like just a normal person.
Okay, well, that's my nightmare. So
right,
that sounds like a slang. But yeah, shout out. I got the Central Air going.
God damn, I'm so jealous.
Game changer. Honestly, I stepped outside today, and it was such a difference in temperature, and it's obviously been hot out this week. I was like, you know what? I like it being a little too hot outside right now, because inside it's just like too cold.
Guess what? The outside is colder than it is inside.
Yeah, houses are weird like that. How's that work? Just the air gets in there, you start breathing it up, and then make it hotter? That's probably it, right?
Sure, yeah. And also, I live in a room that has like 40 screens, and they all radiate heat, and my computer also puts out a bunch of heat, and it's terrible, and I hate myself.
That's a little science talk. Well, you might then... a good way to cool off is to just put your butt out there. That's what Lorde has done. And let me tell you, everyone is freaking out about it. You see the cover for the new Lorde, I believe, single?
I did. Is it a single or is it her album?
I have no idea.
Okay, cool.
I thought it was single. Let's see.
I mean, I did see it, and it's a lot of butt.
Yeah. People very, very excited. But you know what? That's just... stan culture, man. It's crazy. Like, I was going to say, like, yo, like... relax, but she could have posted I don't know, like a stick figure drawing she did, and I feel like it would be just as big a news, because when stans react to anything, they just make it go super global.
Yeah, but also like there's some like weirdness to like the internet collectively getting horny over somebody that like was like 16 and popular not that long ago. It feels kind of weird, and like, I'm not saying that to say that, hey, Lorde can't put her body out there if she wants to. She's an adult and she can make those decisions and stuff. It's just, it feels weird when it's like, I knew her as a 16-year-old. There's a little uncomfortability there.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole, I get more and more uncomfortable with the stan world in which we live. Anyway, but I got to find out if Jack Antonoff is involved in this, because if this is going to be like if the world or pop music is always going to be like a cycle of like, what's the next Taylor Swift Jack Antonoff thing? Yes, we love it. Okay, next a Lorde Jack Antonoff thing. Yes, we love it. And I don't know, within like a year or two, he'll be doing stuff with Olivia Rodrigo. Like, I think that those are great artists who have and can do better with a different producer. And I don't get why like everything has to be the fucking same now, but it is what it is. So hopefully, I don't know, like I think that Lorde's first album was elite, like genius level, A++++++++. And I thought Melodrama was like such a step backwards. Like, this is just
I don't have any excitement.
Whatever else Jack Antonoff stuff.
I don't have any excitement over Lorde. It's weird. I love Pure Heroine, but Melodrama did nothing for me, and I kind of just it made me like not care about Lorde, and I still don't have that feeling. I don't care about Lorde. I'm not excited about this. I'll check it out, but like
I hate that.
We've had like a lot of these conversations recently where it's like heat check on this artist. And for like, you've had a few of them where you're like, I don't care.
Churches.
Yeah, Churches. You're like, I don't know if I need it. And the Churches stuff that has come out recently has been pretty meh. And anybody who knows me knows that I was super duper high on the first two Churches albums. I eventually came around on the last one. Liked it more than I expected. I think a big part of that was seeing it live. A lot of those songs translated pretty well. But yeah, I think that like I think that we've seen the best that we're going to get from Churches, and that kind of bums me out.
Yeah, I think there's just a point of diminishing returns with Churches. I think like we were so excited about the second album because like 2 albums of that, it's like maybe Churches is like hot dogs where one's good, but it's not going to give you your fill. 2's awesome. And then once you start to take the bite of the third one, you're like, what's this doing for me? What am I really getting here? The thing
there though is that like the third one didn't taste the same as the first 2, not because we had too much of it, but it was a differently made hot dog. Like the
I don't necessarily think. I think that it was like it was just like a worse version of the same stuff. Like I think that like we kind of got it by the time we finished Every Open Eye.
I think that they've gotten a little bit darker, like with the way that the music sounds. Always have like they had a guy from the fucking feature. National on the third album. Yeah. It was always going to sound pretty fucking depressing. And so, like, the biggest thing that I love about churches, and the thing that I've always loved the most about churches, is the juxtaposition of the music. It's very, like, dancey, sort of bubbly electro pop type music, and, like, super depressing lyrics.
Yeah, it's the Maxwell Silver Hammer thing I told you about in the, what's it called? In the interview we did a million years ago. Of, like, if you match happy sounding stuff with dark sounding words, your body's going to freak out over it and you won't totally get why, but it always works. And churches basically made their brand that. Like, they were a band that did, and obviously a lot of bands have done that before, like the Smiths and stuff, but churches was like the best recent example of that. Like, Father John Misty's songs don't sound happy. No. They sound sad. That's like sad sounding shit with sad words. The example I give of the Beatles, Maxwell Silver Hammer, it's like a fun boppy song, and it's about a kid going around like murdering people, and you're like, don't really know how to feel about this song other than that it fucking slaps. And that's what churches.
It's the Semi-Charmed Life thing too. Like,
what's that? Is Semi-Charmed Life about like drugs?
It's about it's somebody dying from a drug overdose.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And that song just is like the poppiest. Oh, this feels so good at face value, and then you listen to the lyrics, and you're like, oh no.
Man, you know that everyone who. Not everyone who tours them, but like when Third Eye Blind toured with, I think it was Jimmy Eat World. Afterwards, Jimmy Eat World like totally blew up their spot and was like, "Yo, Stephen Jenkins, weirdest fucking guy in the world, like massive creep." I think at some point there was like a flyer or some like piece of paper that was leaked to venues that said like, "Attention. This is Third Eye Blind. They will not be wearing laminates or like passes at any point. Like, they refuse. Please memorize their faces and don't let anybody who doesn't look like them in without a laminate or whatever." And it's like, that's just super weak. They're like, everybody has to put the fucking thing around their neck, or like when we hang out with Kellen or whatever.
You really want your brand to be, "Do you know who I am?"
Especially when you're Third Eye Blind. Like, that's kind of tough.
Did we ever figure out who the other artist was at the Matchbox 20 show? Because wasn't it a 1-2 punch?
When we went?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, what's it called? It was the oh my god, Counting Crows.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Did we forget that?
Yeah, we had this conversation like not long ago. I think it was maybe less than a week ago, and we couldn't figure out who the other band was. And Adam Duritz sounded terrible.
It wasn't the best. Matchbox 20 headlining that night, and that's like a kind of toss up at bill, right?
Yeah,
where you could say on any given night, like, that it's like when Billy Joel and Elton John tour together. Like, you could flip a coin as to.
Well, it's like two bands that are no longer super relevant, but they were fucking huge back in the day.
Oh, imagine! There's no way they would have toured back in the day, but imagine
together?
Like in the late '90s, just hitting some. I mean, really, they do a lot of tours like that where they'll do like Blues Traveler and. Like bunch of like
two big bands that were like tied together in a different era.
Yeah, imagine if that was happening at the like IRL though in the 90s. Be like, "Hey, going to a concert tonight. Who are you seeing?" "Oh, I'm seeing Matchbox 20, Counting Crows, Blues Traveler, and I think Marcy Playground's opening." Like, so just like
festival?
All the bands are doing all the bands are doing a concert tonight. Yeah. You go have fun, though, at the NSYNC Backstreet Boys Celine Dion show, though. That seems pretty cool, too. It's like, damn, every band or every like famous musician right now is in town. Let's get our read on. They say that 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But you know what I say?
3 out of 3 is better. Do you say that?
That's right. It's my classic. I say go for the best. 3 out of 3. I also say 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time they're 35.
Well, I'm thinking about those guys. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking 2.
What's that?
I'm thinking 2 out of 3. I'm thinking.
Yes.
Thinking those 2 guys should do something about that.
That's the time. That's the time that you don't want to be thinking too, unless you want to lose your hair. Some people maybe want to lose their hair, but if you do not want to lose your hair and you're worried about hair loss as you get into those mid-30s, because tell you what, your boy just hit the Larry Bird year.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I was going to say happy birthday, but congratulations is a way to do that too.
I think yesterday I did a congratulations to somebody on a birthday. I was weird about it. You don't want to start losing that hair unless you do. But if you don't, Keeps offers a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and Keeps offers both of them. So Keeps, they're your stop if you want to say stop to hair because you want to keep it like a goalkeeper. There's a convenient virtual doctor consultation process, medications delivered straight to your door every 3 months. You don't have to leave your home. It doesn't cost much. Treatments start at just $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. And if you're worried, if you're going to be a real worrywart about this, and you don't want people to know that you're using Keeps, I don't know why you wouldn't be proud of it, but Keeps has you set up no matter who you are, because they will send that discreetly. Discreet packaging, proven results.
I don't know. If we talked about this, like it's weird that you'd be like, no, I'm not trying to keep my hair.
Yeah.
Say that loud and proud. Be proud.
I mean, if people are running so they can get in better shape,
right?
They don't hide that. They don't shut up about it, in fact.
That's true.
All they do is tell you that they're running. So, if you're using Keeps and you're improving yourself and you're bettering yourself,
flaunt that.
I find it, if you're trying something to better yourself, it's fun sometimes to keep it to yourself, but it's also helpful to tell everybody about it, because then you're on the hook. Then they better see results. So if you say, I'm trying to stop my hair loss, maybe you won't follow through. But if you tell everyone, hey, you think this hair is going away? Nice try. They're going to watch out. They're going to be like, ooh, that person's trying to keep their hair. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. Prevention is key. Treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results. So act fast. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/brunch to receive your first month of treatment free. That's keeps.com/brunch to get your first month free. keeps.com/brunch. We watched the Bo Burnham thing. The Bo Burnham Inside thing. It's called Inside Llewyn Davis, starring Bo Burnham as Father John Misty, whose real name is Josh Tillman. I was hesitant to watch this because I knew I like Bo Burnham. Who doesn't like Bo Burnham? And everybody was saying that it was the best, but everybody was also saying, like, this is very Father John Misty, and I don't know if he is a Father John Misty fan, but it seems like he is going for just be Father John Misty. And I'm worried. I was worried to watch it because I was like, I don't want to be distracted by that. And like he obviously he's going to put a lot of work into this, so I don't want to like shit on somebody's really, really hard work. And we both watched it. I'll ask you what you thought.
It was just largely okay for me. Like,
yeah, agree.
I think that and like I was scared to watch it myself because I just don't like dumping all over things that like people think are awesome. And a lot of the reactions that I saw were like, holy shit, Bo Burnham's a genius. This thing rocks. And I was like, I'm probably not going to feel that way. I know that I can't imagine me feeling that way. I know that Bo Burnham is extremely talented. This isn't going to tell me anything that I didn't already know. I will say I was very impressed by the presentation of it. Like the lights, the camera work. For if he did end up doing that all himself, like alone in a room, that it rocks. Good for him.
I like
That's
this take.
very, very cool.
I like the take of I don't believe that he did it all himself.
I don't. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if there was like a fucking camera crew.
That'd be weak. I mean, we live in a day and age now where like artists now, if they post a single, I just saw Eric Clapton. I mean, John Mayer did it the other day when he posted like a little Instagram slide thing that was just like all the credits on Last Train Home. Like we're in a day and age where credits are making a comeback, which I love because I always want to know who produced stuff and who played keys on this or whatever. So if Bo Burnham didn't do that, then watch out.
And
Bo.
like I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to not do everything themselves. Like I know it's cool to be like written and produced and directed by Bo Burnham, blah blah blah. But like it's nice to put other people to work and collaborate and not have to do everything yourself. That being said, like if he did do it all himself, it all came out pretty awesome. But at the same token, like it looked so good that it kind of took me out of it because it was supposed to be like this. I'm just in this room. I'm doing it all myself. Like this is Bo Burnham raw, but it looks so polished that it was like, damn, this looks like a production.
It looked so incredible. Like I thought that it was impeccably done. Like I was so impressed. So when you say probably not going to learn anything about Bo Burnham we didn't already know, I had that same feeling going in, and pretty quickly I was like, wow, this looks incredible.
But I mean, we saw what's the movie that he did? What was it? Eighth grade?
Oh yeah.
Eighth grade was packaged super well. You did, you did, didn't you?
I just skipped it.
You didn't? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I was like, hey, everyone's gonna say, oh, it's the best Bo Burnham. Okay, like, all right, they'll just skip.
Eighth grade looked awesome. The presentation of it was spectacular, but that's also like a feature film that has a lot of people working on it, so he could have easily brought in those people to just make it look very, very cool. But yeah, like the way that he worked the lighting and the shots and the way that he presented each of these sketches was really, really cool.
Yeah, it looked incredible. And I'm not trying to like gaslight anybody or anything, but I think that, and I'll say, I think the music is awesome. Like this is like, I'm not the biggest Bo Burnham fan, but I think I've seen everything he's done. If that's a weird sentence. I think I have seen everything he's done other than Eighth Grade. Just skip that one. But like everything musically he's done, I think I've seen. And this is like the best written music he's done. Like the music in this is of higher quality, more creative, not like as well produced, but it's like better music than the thing that just won Album of the Year. So like it's his talent is not being questioned here at all.
About like halfway through, I went on Spotify to see if this was also released as like an album full of the music that he had in there. It's not, but I was surprised because
Dumb move.
Yeah, but it could be a Netflix exclusive type of deal. Although I don't know why they wouldn't want like that exposure to it, I guess. But that's a testament to how good the music is. I was like, oh, this could stand alone.
So this whole project is a lot about like the world we live in right now and keeping to ourselves and living in front of screens, and it's a commentary on it. And I know that sounds like something else. And I feel like the people, again, I'm not trying to like gaslight anybody here or be condescending or patronize any of the things. When people say like, oh, this is genius, like this concept is genius and all this, like this is his like work of art, that they haven't listened to Father John Misty is what that means.
Yeah.
Because like this, unfortunately, and again, like he did such great work on this, but in the end, he just like made a Father John Misty thing.
Yeah, this is just more accessible Father John Misty that's
totally
presented more straightforward. And
I was afraid of that. I said to one of my friends, I was like, Father John Misty's thing is at risk of being like cleaned up a little bit packaged more nicely and making someone else a shitload of money.
Oh yeah.
So I was afraid that this was going to be like more accessible, more fun Misty, and it definitely was. It wasn't better Misty, but it was like a Disney Misty.
Yeah, and so that's like where my issue is, I guess, where like I didn't find any of the stuff, any of the content overly genius or whatever. And I know people are saying like, oh, Bo Burnham's a genius, but like the content itself was pretty basic. Like the discussions and the commentary that he was having is pretty basic, not stuff that we hadn't heard before. And honestly, we've heard it done better before. But where like the genius, I would say, kind of comes in is the way that it's presented and how nice it looks and how well it's packaged. So like there are certainly redeeming qualities about this special, but overall it was sort of underwhelming just in the sense of what he's saying, because it does feel like he's being Father John Misty light.
Yeah, it looks so good though. And honestly, so a lot of great looking shots. So he did a Kesha style song about feeling like shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
In that one, he had like the light controller like with him. So he's just got like the camera on him, he's got a light on him, but he's got like a controller, so the lights on him are constantly changing and he's controlling it. And that looked absolutely incredible. I was like, why don't musicians stream? Like maybe they do, but like why don't musicians just like set up a mic and like put on a legitimate show? I thought that looked so great.
I don't know if it was the same one that I'm thinking of, but there was one where he had like a light. He was holding a light behind him, and like every time there would be like a drum or something, he'd swing it against the wall, and so it would like throw a white light on the wall, and like it was very synchronized, and it was very, very cool.
Oh, sick. Yeah, I also liked the last song, the All Eyes on Me song. He just projected himself in.
Oh,
so
yeah,
he's standing in front of the wall, and he projected himself on the wall. So it looked great. I mean, he was very, very creative, or his team, whoever, was very, very creative in how they put it together and how it looked. The songs were distracting at points. Again, like songs very, very high quality. Not like very high quality. Like I don't know. I don't want to compare it all to Misty, because I don't think Bo Burnham packaged this as like, hi, I am as good as Father John Misty.
And Father John Misty is a musician. Like,
yeah,
that's like the main course of his job.
Yeah.
Bo Burnham does like a lot of different things. So like to even put him in the conversation with like, hey, this is almost as good as Father John Misty, it's a compliment.
Yeah. The one part that was super relatable for any DIY rockers was he's playing the song and you hear it the way that the digital audio workstation is hearing it. So like his voice has like the reverb on it, and like you hear the piano, and then he messes up and it cuts to like the room audio. Mm-hmm. So like he hits like space bar and is like, fuck, God, like I coughed or whatever. That is a very real, probably embarrassing thing that like he's probably hearing himself. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm not describing it well, but like the audio goes from like nice like music sounding to like just someone who's sitting in their room being like you know.
Yeah, there's like a few of those moments where it's like he intentionally sort of pulls back the curtain to like reveal how ridiculous what he's doing is.
Yeah, where some of it was this. What I couldn't tell though, like some of it maybe was intentional. But even if it was intentional, and like even if it was staged, like it still kind of served it. I feel like there were some moments though where it's like, oh, like he's not nailing this, or he's frustrated, or he's mad, or whatever. That I just can't tell. Like, is that real, or is that like it would be appropriate at this point in the special to have him like futzing around with this thing?
A lot of the stuff that I felt was too long. I thought that he could have effectively done what he wanted to do in like 1 to 2 minutes, and he made it like 3 to 5. And I was just kind of bored with it by the time it got to the end of it. And I think that the pace, like a quicker pace, would have helped me like this a bit more. It just felt like I was kind of stuck in these performances that he was doing a few times. The one time that I don't think that I felt that way was the reaction video. The reaction video bit was very, very funny, and it just kept getting better as it went along. So I thought that was well served. Also, like, I think that reaction videos are just a funny topic for us. It's something that we discuss quite a bit, and just him playing off of that was very good.
Yeah, the reaction video was awesome. I thought that was A+, great, best part of the special. He also did a little thing with streamers and gamers, and you can speak better to this than me, Mr. Twitch partner. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks.
I've only like watched you streaming, but he did things that I was like, oh, this is so streamer.
Yeah. The dialogue between him and the chat and stuff was funny. It was just like, hey, JD, thank you for the 100 bits, much appreciated. That was good. And then it was chat's saying try this. Yeah, I mean, of course. All right, fine. Give me a second.
I love the guy who's like, chat. He's controlling a guy walking around the room, and he's like, chat says go to the door. Well, I don't think it will. Oh, you can. And then, like, the door doesn't open. He's like, yeah, the door doesn't open. So, like, he's the entire time he's playing it as, like, I know more than the chat, okay? Even though, like, he's immediately wrong and should have just been listening to the chat. I thought it was, like, I think it was, like, it was just well put together. I'm sure that, like, he, like, storyboarded and everything and thought, like, hey, what are people doing right now? A lot of people are getting into streaming. A lot of people are watching reaction videos. And, like, he found a way to tie all those things in, which is why when you say it's tough to call it genius, I agree, because he really was just kind of taking like what we're doing right now. Yeah,
and like also I think there's going to be an oversaturation point of like, hey, I'm a creative and I'm stuck in quarantine, so I just decided to try out this weird thing.
Shut up. Vineyard Nights banged.
Yeah, but you were early enough that you didn't hit the oversaturation point. Like, yeah, I think you got to get in. There's a very fine time window from here to whatever, because like once we're starting to get back to normal now, at least we are here, and the more that this happens, I don't want to be continuously exposed to like pandemic creative stuff.
Yeah, it'll feel good to get back to, like, I just made this, and I just created this. And I know we've talked about this, like, the last, like, few weeks, months, whatever. Maybe it's a wash thing. TBD. Like, both of us just feeling more creative with, like, the different things we do, and that feels great. It doesn't feel like it's a product of, like, I'm cooped up. Whereas before, I feel like any sort of creativity got a writing credit from the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And I think that now creativity is just becoming creativity, and we're just kind of getting used to having like feelings and experiences again, which is good. I made a playlist for a friend who was like, oh, you're gonna love this. I don't know anything about Father John Misty, but this shit is brilliant. So I watched it and I was like, all right, now I have to be the asshole. Like, this, like, the brilliant stuff was like, a lot of it was like Father John Misty stuff, and he was like, roll me further, voice, then make me a playlist. So I made a playlist called Misty for people who like Bo Burnham as Misty. It has pure comedy, because that was basically this entire project. Nancy from Now On, because he talks about pour me another drink. The night Josh Tillman came to our apartment, because that was the white girl Instagram. Born in the USA, because there's a laugh track in one of the songs. Total Entertainment Forever, because it makes fun of everything and being obsessed with consuming shit. True Affection, because there was a song about sexting.
Yeah.
Ideal Husband, the one he did his song. So he did a song that was like the ideal husband, where he just like admits to like, hey, here are the things that I've done, and he even
is that
off of
the Problematic song?
Yeah,
that Problematic song was kind of funny. Where it's just
I think that everybody. I mean, again, like, so Father John Misty has that with one of his songs, but I think that the way he put it before the song, I thought was well put. He said, like, there's the something reckoning, but he called it a reckoning, where like, if your aim's been off, if you've made jokes that don't hold up. I think that he even referenced it. He was like, I grew up watching Family Guy. Like, what kind of jokes did you expect me to make?
Yeah, I thought that was good, because he did talk about all that stuff, and it was good commentary. And then I thought it was funny that in the second verse he was like, shit, I got to talk about some of the stuff that I said in that first verse. I tried to erase my wrongdoings and blame it on my upbringing. I'm very, very sorry about that. It was just like, it was very much a, oh my God, we have to apologize about everything sort of deal. And I enjoyed that humorous bit.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Yeah, I mean, we've probably gotten into that conversation before, where like people get canceled or get uncanceled or whatever. Like, I watch that now, and like I watched those Bo Burnham videos, and like, I mean, he talks about them in the song and everything, but Bo Burnham to me right now seems like I'm not worried about Bo Burnham.
No, me
like,
either.
I don't think that I don't think that Bo Burnham's a bad guy. Although I was a little distracted thinking like, wait, what did Bo Burnham do that like recently that wasn't great? And then I was like, oh no, he was just like a shitty guy in guy in. I'm having a rough time with confusing people's characters with who they actually are.
Well, he basically played Bo Burnham in that movie, which was distracting.
No, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah. The one. Did you put a night
Ballad of the Dying Man?
No, a night at Josh Tillman's apartment or whatever.
Yes, the night Josh Tillman came to our apartment.
Yes.
Yeah, I put that in there.
Yeah. Okay. So that one, we had talked about this. Sort of reminds me of the White Girl Instagram bit.
No doubt.
The song, because he was doing all this cool shit, like visually in that video, to make fun of the things that white girls do on their Instagrams and shit like that. And it felt to me like he was just doing that as an excuse to do all that cool shit, because it looked awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, super the night Josh Tillman came to our apartment. He's making fun of this basic white girl, and like he gets that first joke off, and you're like, yeah, I guess like that. Yeah, so cool. And then like he just keeps complaining, and you're like, all right, well, it's a person. And by the end of it, you're like, oh, I get it. You just are doing this to show that you're a dick. And that's kind of, yeah, that's what the White Girl Instagram song was. Which again, like, that was like a funny concept and everything. And that type of like similarity to Misty, I think, is okay. I think that there's other ones that were more overt, like that. Like, yeah, the White Girl Instagram and the night Josh Tillman came to our apartment. You could say like, you could do like a criticism, not like a negative criticism, but like you could write a criticism pointing out like, oh, these are similar, even if one didn't inspire the other. But other things.
That's also such a basic.
He was just being Father John Misty.
That's also such a basic thing to make fun of. Like, you can't credit Father John Misty to making fun of like white girl behavior on Instagram.
No,
like that's
like
a common joke.
No, I mean like using it as like I meant using the trick of, hey, I'm making fun of this person, and pretty quickly you realize the goal of this isn't actually to make fun of this person. The goal of this is to actually show how self-absorbed they are, like the singer is. So like the takeaway from Night Josh Tillman came to our apartment is, oh, you're just a miserable dude and you have an issue with everything this girl does, and she's just probably living her life. And the takeaway from White Girl Instagram by the end is like, So you're just jealous that they
Yeah,
take all
right.
those
Yeah.
cool pictures and have those like banging lights and filters. It was not bad. I didn't dislike it. I think that, like you said, kind of knew going in, I'm probably not going to come away from this thinking genius, because how often do we actually say genius?
I know. It just felt like something that was bound to be overhyped, and that's ultimately the way that I felt about it. I still like it. Still was fine, and like I'm not like, yo, fuck Bo Burnham. He sucks.
Yeah.
He's unoriginal. I was impressed by a lot of the things that he did, and I think that he's a very impressive human. He's extremely talented, and I think that he's funny. It's just, this wasn't like a revelatory thing.
Correct. There is hype, though. There's big hype, and there's more hype coming. Because in less than 1 month, shout out to me not understanding the calendar and not knowing what time of year it was, I Think You Should Leave Season 2 drops July 6th. And I was like, ooh, cool. A little while we get I Think You Should Leave Season 2 later this year. That's so soon.
That's like literally less than a month.
Less than 1 month. That's going to be terrific. When did I think You Should Leave was maybe like a May thing?
I have no idea, but I do know there's a lot of content coming up. We've got summer blockbusters. We've got I Think You Should Leave Season 2. We got Sob Rock. We've got a lot of stuff coming, and I'm very, very excited about it.
I meant to ask this. What's the deal with Top Gun? Did that movie come out? Did it not come out?
It hasn't come out yet.
I feel like it did come out and then like it went away, or
I think it was going to come out like last year, and they had like started rolling out the promotional stuff, and then it got pushed back, so they kind of had to stop showing all the promotional stuff, and they were like, "Fuck, we just have to reboot this campaign." So that's probably why it feels like it's been coming out twice.
Perfect. Dude, you nailed that. That's exactly what happened, because the other things that got delayed, we didn't get much hype for. So it was actually pretty easy to follow that, like, oh yeah, Spiral never came out. Like, we knew about Spiral because we like read a thing that was like, Chris Rock's making a Saw movie. But then other than that, we weren't getting like bombarded with Spiral ads or anything.
So the thing is, like, when the pandemic started was what, early spring? And
like February, March.
Yeah, and that's very bad movie season. So we weren't getting a lot of good, exciting promotional campaigns for these movies. And I think really the only one that we had started getting was Top Gun, because it was like a Super Bowl commercial, and they had been talking about it a lot. So there was very few movies that like started a campaign and then had to press pause on it. It was a lot of us just hearing, "Oh, this movie's been delayed," without us seeing stuff for it.
Dude, how'd you nail that so good?
I don't know.
How did you start there? I feel like that's something that's like a realization that someone finds their way to. I asked that question, and you like straight up you were at the finish line.
I don't know.
How you do that so smooth?
I don't know. I appreciate the credit there, though. That could be wrong. I have no idea. I'm just making that shit up.
I think you're wrong.